what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, but there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. Most importantly though, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Arwin.
Hello.
Mark Doxey.
Hello, gentlemen.
And Sleeping Warrior. Good to have you all.
Hola, amigos.
What's up?
So, Arwin.
What?
I believe you have some kind of presentation that you'd like to do.
Me?
You have, yeah, in the Masturbators chat, you were expressing the view that you had some revolutionary new idea on Summit.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Yeah, I was doing some other stuff and I completely forgot. What was it again? Let me scroll back for a moment.
Come on, Owen, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know too, but I have to remind myself. I've been that distracted. What was it again?
You're going to have to give us a preface of what it is that you're referring to.
Yeah, no, you're going to have to give me a preface.
All right, well, do you want me to read what you actually said? Will that jog your mind?
Well, I said a lot of things, so which one is it?
It was, sorry, Riley, I was wrong. No, not that bit.
Very funny. No, that's never going to happen.
That was below the belt.
Yeah, and it's unrealistic because that's never going to happen.
No, I know it's never going to happen, which is part of the problem. But nonetheless, your quote was...
part of your problem.
Well, it depends on how you view it. But anyway, your quote was... There's a lot that's happened since then. Hang on.
Oh, wait. You mean the quantum function of the curve? Was that it? Yeah, as I said, I've been saying a lot of things, so...
I'm just getting to it. It's something... I don't want to misquote you and then for you to attack me for misquoting you. I want to read what you said because I'm curious to know what it is.
Yeah, I do remember at least something that I came up with or remembered yesterday that I was going to say on the show. So in that sense, I do remember what I was going to say now. I don't know if that is what you're referring to because I've had very long conversations since yesterday with all kinds of people.
I thought it had to do with the sun's transit.
Sun's transit?
That's what I thought.
No, but I made that statement pretty damn clear yesterday at the beginning of the Hangout.
Did you reference that the actual core of the Earth was a globe, but the projection of the land is flat?
Oh, wait. Oh, that part. Well, no, that theory, which, yeah, it is part of a theory. I actually presented that in my very, very first Hangout here on YouTube as an option.
Is that the one that you believe he's talking about, Anthony?
No.
Yeah, that's no, the one that
the flat globe, you mean?
Yeah.
That's
the one
well, it could be possible. It all depends on how...
a flat globe?
Yeah. Yeah, funny, isn't it? It's a real mind crusher.
But it's just a contradiction in terms. It's a
contradiction in terms.
It's a contradiction.
Non-physically literal globe-shaped flat Earth. Yeah.
Sounds like a hot ice cream, though.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
they're
just a
married
flat surface,
bachelors.
but the way it interconnects could best be displayed as a globe. That is what that is. Yeah. Could turn out to be like that. But yeah, we'll still have to get the entire
That's like a
contours
married
of this
bachelor.
Earth explored in detail and measured up and see how it interconnects. It's one of my main missions that I have been wanting to do from the start. Figure out what is this Earth layout.
Right,
How does it all measure up in detail? So measure it with
work
a
in
ruler
progress.
and not just with the star positions.
I found the message out, and it reads, quote, "I'm going to bring you theory tomorrow on the debates. The collapsing wave function due to observation that makes the curvature on the globe into a flat plane because we observe it. Inspired by the double slit experiment, I'll have to be careful because the scientism community might actually adopt."
Yeah.
So
That was the other thing I was referring to. Yeah, the wave, the curve function collapse. Yeah, it is a theory that I was thinking about, that in the double slit experiment, I'll just explain it completely. The double slit experiment, it is, well, widely accepted now that if an observer actually looks at the, what is it, the light beam as it is being emanated towards the double slits, that there is some kind of wave function that collapses, and that makes the light, instead of rippling out, showing that specific scattering pattern, as if it, the wave, like the light is rippling out like a wave, and that causes this interference pattern. But if an observer is present, then that function, for a very, very mysterious reason, collapses, and it turns into what seems like particles that just go straight ahead. And that is one of the biggest mysteries of physics, has been for a long time. So I was thinking very creatively, as I tend to do sometimes, what if the curvature of the Earth is a similar effect? And when you can basically calculate the curve of the Earth because it's there, because it's a ball, because of R and all of that. But when you observe it, then a similar effect to the double slit experiment may be occurring that causes the curve function to collapse, making it all into straight lines, or as we know it, into a plane. So maybe that's the cause why we can't see the Earth, because observing it will cause the curve function to collapse. And I thought, that's it. Right, guys?
No.
No?
No. The wave function that you're describing in terms of, it's a quantum mechanical description of something. It's a mathematical description. To say that it's a wave, it isn't.
You're not, are you like seriously taking what I just said as a possibility? Because it was kind of like a science fiction idea. I thought it was kind of funny.
Fair enough, but when you describe a collapsing
that
wave function, that's us trying to interpret a mathematical description of something. And, light is not a wave, but the fact that you can describe it mathematically as a wave doesn't make it a wave. So when you describe wave function collapse, you can visualize a physical wave, like a wave coming into a shoreline, collapsing, but that's nothing like what is actually occurring at all. It's just a mathematical description to call it a wave function.
It is basically unknown what is exactly occurring.
Arwen, let me ask a question really quick. Could you have prefaced the whole thing that you just did in the past couple minutes? Could you have prefaced it with, "This is an idea I have about a science fiction scenario"?
Because I just said that, didn't I?
No, you said it at the end. So I was listening to you as if you were presenting something that you consider to be a possibility for reality.
Well, no, absolutely not. I don't think that things that are physically literal can collapse because you observe at it. I'm not that silly.
Doesn't that kind of debunk?
It was a joke. Basically,
Oh.
come on.
Was it?
Yeah.
Didn't come across that way on
I know,
Masturbate.
yeah. You really need to know. It's like I mean this in the nicest way. It's like Sheldon on the Big Bang Theory when he's like, you know, he doesn't get somebody's sarcasm. He's like, oh, that was sarcasm. Yeah, we didn't get it. It didn't come
No.
across as a joke.
Well, maybe it's just.
When I read it on
that's a little bit above your level.
When I read it on Masturbators chat, I just thought, uh-oh.
Fair enough. Moving on. Any signs of curvature, anybody?
Yeah. Sly
Excellent.
Sparkane claims that Rancy's proved the curvature of the Earth with his turbine photos. And in
Okay.
doing so, he's completely and utterly misled all of his subs, who must be all morons if they don't see the inherent problems with his modelling skills. I'm pretty certain that Sly's made a monumental mistake, and I'm pretty certain it's going to be exposed in the next video that I release. I just need to check one little detail before I do, but I'm pretty certain, Sly, you've misled all your subs as to Rancy showing anything to do with the curvature of the Earth. But I may be corrected, so I'll check one thing, and then I'll be releasing a video showing what he's done wrong. So, no is the answer to that one, Nathan.
Fair enough. Was that what we discussed this morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're very wise. I mean, double check what you think. At this stage, I agree with your suspicions, as you know from the conversation we had before. But these guys have got to give some explanation for something, and they're not averse to lying and deceiving and fudging things. So, you know, it just takes a little bit of picking apart. It's not as easy as just to point at it and go, ha, caught you. So double check it and then either discuss it tomorrow, put it on a video. Great. Glad you're not talking about it now.
All I've got to do is look to make sure that he hasn't removed one element of his argument. And it's difficult to know if he has removed it, where he's removed it. But I have to rewatch the whole video again. And if it's the case that he hasn't removed it, then it means that he has told porkies and will be exposed accordingly. And I'm pretty certain that I've pretty much got this nailed on, Sly. I think you've pretty much done a deliberate mistake, and I'm going to call it intentional. So watch this space, Sly. You're going to be exposed once more to be the lying little worm that you are, along with Miles the Liar Davis and Sean Hufford, and all of you reprobates that all think that the Earth's a ball and tell lies to protect your belief. Keyword. Religion. Keyword.
Check
Anyway,
it out. Aaron's in the comments
no
accusing us of
curvature.
being humorless. Cheeky sod. What do you mean I got no sense of humour?
Sorry, I spoke over you. Say that again.
Arwen's in the comments. He says, you guys have got no sense of humour.
Well, if nobody
Did you
got,
feel I was talking to you, Nathan?
Yeah.
well, if nobody got the joke
So
out,
you feel being addressed by me. That's interesting, because I'm not saying it here. I'm saying it
Says
in the
you
public
guys.
chat.
Says you guys. You guys. That'd be me. I'm included. I'm you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah,
I'd say
I'd
so.
address, if I was talking to you, I'd address you. I was actually talking to the people in chat.
Okay.
People is a big word. Bots, drones.
there are no bots or drones on this channel.
No, there isn't. Might get Nightbot if it ever got to, you know, more popular than I could handle in terms of the chat. Then, you know, there's very little that I don't approve. You know, people calling me a wanker or something, I couldn't care less. You know, people's insults, I just often just approve them. I don't care. You know, but if there was something really, really bad, and I might miss it, I don't know if Nightbot would catch it anyway, would it? Probably not.
But to get back to it, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that you guys didn't get the joke like right away. You must be seriously afraid that I'm like on the fence here or something, and I'm gonna like figure out how to restore the globe or something. It's a really weird sensation that you guys actually think that I could do that.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what
weird.
we're thinking about you at the moment. I think you're MI5.
No way. I'm not even British.
Yeah, that's why I'm suspicious of you.
What?
I'm just joking.
This
Oh,
is a very weird conversation. You
so
realise
you're just a bigot. I'm a foreigner.
Yep. Got to be suspicious of these foreign types. So what about axial rotation then, as we've kind of stopped doing housekeeping? Any signs of that? Anybody been claiming
No,
that
at all.
show the Earth spin?
Nope.
we do have an issue that we can talk about. our science teacher friend, GCSE and A-level science guy. He's
You're
opened up a
kind
new
of
channel.
too quiet. Get close to your mic.
Sorry, is that any better?
Yeah.
Our science teacher friend, GCSE and A-level science, has opened up a new channel. I'm not familiar what is. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called something like Copyright Cats or something like that. Conspiracy Cats or something like that. And but he's on with the task of researching the gyroscopes, because even though he's got a degree and a master's, he was never taught anything about a gyroscope, which I find incredible, because it's one of the things that you would expect people to be taught at some point. But it seems to be the case that they treat gyroscopes as toys, which in itself is a conversation. But he's going to go. He's bought a gyroscope. He's waiting for it to be delivered, and he's tasked with the challenge of showing the rotation of the Earth. And if he can't get it, explaining why not. And given that we already know the position on the gyroscopes and what they do and don't do, and why they do and don't do stuff, he's got to have to come up with some scientific and physics related explanation for it, and show that it is the cause. And he's going to be the one to do that. So watch this space for the proof of axial rotation.
Fair enough. We will keep an eye on GCSE and A-level science, or whatever he's called. Is it physics?
GCSE and I think it's GCSE. Well, no, his new channel's called Conspiracy Cats, I think.
Okay. Fair enough.
He has something to offer to the discussion, doesn't he, though?
He does.
And it's very interesting.
Well, he's called out Sheeps and Neeps. So if anybody's not familiar, Sheeps and Neeps was having a rant about how water's not made of hydrogen or oxygen or something along the lines. Don't quote me exactly. It was just a rant about water, and he picked up on it, and he's made a short introductory video, which is basically calling him out. And I'm pretty certain it'll get to him. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I will get his new channel name, and I will tell everybody what the actual name is. And then if somebody's friendly with Sheeps and Neeps, let him know that it's there so that it can be concluded. Right, it's Conspiracy Cats with a Z at the end. It's 2 words, Conspiracy Cats. And with it being a new channel, he's only got 2 subs. So please go over there and give him a sub, and obviously click the bell notification. But he's basically calling out Sheeps and Neeps, and I want to see that, because I actually agree with him on this one. I think he's right. Water is made.
Post a link for us, please.
I can't.
Oh.
I mean, how can I do this, Nathan? Skype it over to you.
What?
Are these the same ideas that Peter and Pete are going through with the hydrogen and oxygen stuff?
I'm not sure what they're going through, but I've sent it to you on Skype, Nathan. If you just put it in the public chat so everyone can see it. And if I can encourage everybody to go and like his channel, because it's a brand new channel. He's only got 2 subs, and his first video was calling out Sheeps and Neeps on a topic that I actually agree with him on a point that I actually agree with him on. And I'd like to see that concluded, because, well, if he's got it wrong, he's got it wrong, right?
Well, Jimbo in the chat saying he's kind of got it half right.
Well, let's get a conclusion on it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not I think that the teacher's right. I think that Sheeps and Neeps is wrong based on what I understand the argument to be. I may misunderstand the argument, but he's picking a fight with it. So what I'm saying is, whether it's right or wrong, there's a challenge to Sheeps and Neeps on that channel. And if Nathan presents it in the side chat for the public people to see, then at least Sheeps and Neeps will get to know about it. But whilst you're there looking at the challenge, give him a like and a sub, and let's get his sub count up, because yes, I agree, he has value in the flat Earth community, because he can come up with the evidences that are missing, hopefully.
Or not, as the case may be.
Yeah, or not. And then if he doesn't get that evidence, then he's going to have to make explanations as for why.
Can you spell it? Because I just searched for it. It didn't come up.
It's in the chat. If you're in the live. Oh, no, you're on a phone, aren't you? Bummer.
Yeah.
I'll put it. Oh, you're on a phone, right? So it's Conspiracy Space Cats with a Z.
Yeah, it didn't come up.
Did you try putting a capital C on both words? So capital C for conspiracy and cats, and then Z at the end.
Yeah, YouTube aren't very friendly to you if you're a brand new YouTuber. It's not like he'll just show up immediately once he's registered his channel name.
No, it's difficult to find a new channel. That's why I'm trying to get people to go over and plug it. So once he gets a bit of momentum, he'll be all right. But getting started is the hardest bit. But I've challenged him to come on Nathan's channel again and have a conversation about gravity because he's convinced that we're wrong about gravity. And I've said, okay, well, get your ass online. Let's have a conversation and see what you can prove and what you can't prove.
Are you asking us to subscribe to him? Yeah.
Yeah, just add
okay.
him and sub to him.
Smash it. I've done that now. He's got 8 subscribers
got
now.
From 2 to 9. So, and because I said I'd plug him on Nathan's show, he's agreed that he'll come on and he'll argue gravity.
And is this the physics teacher? Is it?
Yes.
He's got a nice Gibson on the wall hung up behind him.
He does.
Oh yeah, he's a BB King supporter then, eh?
And what's that guitar called? Is it called the RuPaul guitar?
I thought it was a Gibson, but is it? Excellent.
It's a Les Paul, not RuPaul. RuPaul is someone else.
I always get mixed up with a good Les Paul and a good RuPaul.
So he likes the blues, maybe.
I'm joking, by the way. That is a joke. I understand the difference. So anyway, I'm going to go on mute while I have a sarnie, and then I should be back to you in a sec. So,
good man.
But yeah, if you know, give him a good sub and get it sub up so that he can have a conversation. And
that's done. Good man. We've done that.
I'm slightly busy for a second, hoping that you'll keep the conversation going for a couple of minutes.
So, Mark, you found the channel?
Yes, I did. I found the channel, yes, yeah. Did you find it?
How did you find it? No, it won't come up.
It's
what did you do?
It's called Conspiracy Cats, spelled with C-A-T-Z. It was just the... Sleeping Warrior put it in the group chat.
Well, give me what's one of his episode titles?
Okay, I'm going to send it to you directly through.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Through Skype.
Right. One of his actual titles of his video, "Conspiracy Cats," and then it says, "Water is not H2O?" WTF? So if you put "Conspiracy Cat," not H2O, you must find it then, surely.
Yeah, I've just sent it to Travis now. He'll get it through his Skype. Did you get it, Arwen?
Me?
Yeah. Arwen's like the most unhelpful person. He probably won't have even heard the conversation.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm just
being unhelpful.
Is this some kind of joke to you or something? I don't know why, but I'm getting like flack for just a freaking joke that I made, and now people are claiming that I'm being unhelpful to Fire. What the hell is wrong with you people? Can't I just make a freaking intellectual joke now without immediately being declared a shill or that kind of crap? What the fuck is wrong with you people?
No swearing,
Owen, don't include me in that.
I'm including everyone that is doing this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right.
People are freaking paranoid insane. I just made an intellectual joke. Can't you take a joke? Or like in your mind constantly with spears to everybody's throat as soon as they like move a centimeter out of line and you're ready to stab through them? Are you nuts?
Are you done?
Arwen, I have to tell you, I'm sorry. Before you told your joke, we all got together and decided to play a joke on you that we would pretend that you were actually serious. So we didn't tell you. We're sorry. It was a joke. Our joke was on your joke. So
that kind of joke, that's just a low blow, guys. If that is real, and I don't actually believe you at this point, so I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, but this is just not funny. Hey, you think it's funny, Riley, because you like to kick me in the back every chance you get.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Arwen, I agree with you on some things, but I don't agree with you on all things. It's not kicking in the back when I agree with you, is it?
What's going on? Why is there an argument? What did I miss?
I don't know. Arwen blew his top because I said that he was unhelpful, but he thought it was in relation to the joke. and it's just in relation to him generally being unhelpful. So he's linked it to the joke that he made before and then blew his top. And I'm like, it's got nothing to do with the joke. Calm down. It was just a general insult, you know, light-hearted, jovial insult. Not the end of the world.
It's not. It's not part of the Netherlands culture, though, is it?
What isn't?
Well,
Sarcasm.
I don't know, is it? Yeah, sure.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. I have a
Guys,
Dutch friend.
Joke can be funny, but if you're gonna all conspire to fool me, that's not funny. Okay.
Nobody's doing that.
No, he was
Nobody-
joking,
That's what
Arwen.
you just described, or that's what
There was no conspiracy.
Paul, or whoever.
Look, we all like consensus opinion here, so maybe we should take a vote in the chat. Who thinks
I'm
Arwen's a
offended.
shill?
I'm offended, Arwen. It was me. It was
Oh,
me.
with
I
his
was.
head. Right, where were we? What on earth were we talking about?
We weren't talking about anything.
We were talking about conspiracy cats, and whether you found this video.
So if you guys need filler, I was on Flat Earth Math last night, and in order to present his idea to me, that's Charles described a planet in space that was absolutely solid with no molten core and was a perfect cube that had a rain cloud over it that rained 40 days and 40 nights. And at the end of that, the water would have formed into a perfect sphere around it. So he was trying to convince me that the heliocentric model does not believe that water sticks to the surface of a shape. And in so trying to explain that, described water adhering to a cube out in space. It was quite interesting. I was very yeah. This stuff I'm not like I just didn't even know what to say. I mean I said what I did say if you wanted to listen to it, but
Hold on one sec. Hey Mark, how you doing? You hear us?
I'm okay. I heard Arwen blew his top not too long. Hello?
You're just a bit
Hey,
quiet. I'm
Mark.
just turning you up.
But that's what I'm just listening to what I actually wanted to mention that I like how you said circles of confusion. And recently I was on Discord, and according to them, everything you presented about the Isle of Man, apparently Nathan apologized completely for presenting complete bollocks, according to the folks on Discord.
Oh, well, you can definitely trust the folks on Discord, of course.
Well, I said, do you know which episode he apologized in? Because I would love to actually have that plastered somewhere.
Now, I think what they're referring to is that we didn't know what we were looking at, and we asked the question: was it Isle of Man we were looking at, or was it Ireland? And I think what they're referring to is that Nathan said it was Ireland with me, and we didn't know what it was. But it turns out that the land that we were looking at was actually the Isle of Man, but it couldn't be the Isle of Man according to the curvature of the Earth. But they were able to argue with refraction, bring back the tippy top.
Oh, I know what was said. I'm waiting, but according to, I'm not saying you were wrong. I'm not the one. I'm saying that what they've translated your entire Isle of Man presentation, the months that you worked on this, was that you apologized in the end because you were completely wrong.
Well, we weren't.
Yo.
I mean,
I
hello,
know.
Jose. I mean, what I would add to the Isle of Man debacle in that regard is that at the time we didn't realise that the calculator was a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective omitting curve calculator. So
Oh yeah.
we could go back and look at where the bulge would block absolutely all of it out if they want us to, but you know, we've now got some lower shots of the same thing because the Earth's flat.
Let's
So-
not do any more Isle of Man. Every time I see that, it really is beating a dead horse.
I've got my own Discord. So there's a Oakley is a wanker Discord with all sorts of memes
Yeah.
about me. Thank you guys. I really appreciate the support. It's so kind.
On top of that, it would be nice if I could find someone who can do the math that says how much fuel there is in a jet plane because apparently until you do the math that says that you can fit, I think it's like 9 city fuel trucks into one wing of a typical passenger jet. Again, according to the folks on Discord, you can do it. It can be done because jet planes are flying and they say there's so much fuel in them. Therefore, they're in the wings. Let's not argue. That's also.
Therein lies the reason why I don't bother with Discord generally.
Well, it's good to hear what they say eventually, right? I mean, this is what's going out to the masses. You might want to be interested in knowing how your efforts are being translated to the masses.
I don't care. People can check out the original stuff and make their own mind up. You know, in terms of the audience that Discord has, they're welcome to come and check out the stuff and verify it. It's the same sort of mentality as people who go on the internet, do a wiki search and just accept what they find. So if they stumble across something on Discord that says I'm a wanker, and they then look at all the horrible memes and go, yeah, this guy's a wanker, then, you know, more power to your opinion. It's someone else's opinion you've accepted. And the same applies with the sphericity of the Earth. If you want to just do a Google search and take the wiki answer, then, you know, on your way, good for you. You know, just accept what you find and be content that it's right, and you don't need to question it any further. For someone like us, for people like us, we go, let's question that. Let's see if it's actually correct. And what do you know? You check it out against something like the Isle of Man, and it doesn't work out. You know, they take their shallow, hollow victories and claim that we have then lost an entire argument. It's the same when we debated the guys on the Non Sequitur show. So they essentially debunked the height that Google Earth claims and then said that they've won the argument. You're like, wow, way to not only put together a straw man, but make that straw man the model that people claim Earth is. Marvellous. You know, great. So your straw man is to debunk Google Earth. Well done. That's supposed to be your model.
It actually went further, if you remember, on the channel, because the video in question had one question in the video, and that was a question. And we went to the non-sec channel with that one question, armed with that one question. This, well, basically, led by Rumpus, they had more than an hour, any part of the video, to do with the question. I referenced numerous other parts of the video, of ejected and stuff, but nonetheless, didn't address the question once. There was no consideration any point of the question in the video, and ultimately, the video was declared void without any consideration of the claim in the video by Non Sequitur. So at that point, I said, well, look at the evidence before declaring it void. Why are we here? And basically, accept Rumpus's version.
Is your phone away from the computer or something because you're dropping out?
Oh.
As far as Non Sequitur goes, any video that does not start with "you're living on a pretty ball" is a video that will never be watched, and they just simply want you to make references to the video that they never will watch, and they will always say, well, I haven't seen it. I sent them a whole bunch of stuff, and they don't want to watch it.
Yeah, but now calls him, what was it, Steve McRae? So wasn't it Deceive McRae?
Yeah, Deceive McRae.
He's deceiving people. He's telling people things that are not true. One of his own said that he didn't believe in going to the moon. Steve was shown the evidence. He said that was a joke. Despite the evidence, asking the question again, saying, hey, do you realize? He asserted the position for a second time, but somehow Steve said that was a joke.
You have Steve actually you have Steve actually saying he believes that they faked the first one. You have him actually saying it on YouTube.
A nickname for him?
I think it was Curtis. Wasn't it Curtis that said that?
Yeah, Curtis said it originally, but Steve is the one that tried to pass it off as even though it's clearly written in a serious prose, and it was asked for clarification specifically on the point in question, and somehow Steve McRae still claims that this, and it's obvious that it's not. And then obviously there was a conversation that took place, and Jaron showed it on the Hangout. Steve McRae is dishonest. they're all being dishonest at the minute. They're all telling lies. It's all crumbling around their feet, and they can't have it. They've got to lie.
How about Devious Steve? Has a nice ring to it.
Well, I quite like Deceive McRae.
Yeah, but that doesn't roll off the tongue as nicely.
Yeah, neither does
Devious
slightly
Steve.
looming non-standard refraction hyena, but we got used to that.
Now that actually does roll off the tongue, strangely.
Yeah, it didn't initially. It took me ages to learn that.
But Deceive Steve, that's like that breaks apart in your mouth. Devious Steve is just like one sentence. It's almost the same.
Mindless McRae. How's that?
Oh, yeah, that could work.
It's not bad.
Wouldn't you say that
Personally,
was him fooling
with me,
himself, though? So he's read that and gone, there's no way one of my Globehead buddies can believe this. It must be sarcasm. Do you not think that he could just process it that way?
No, not the way he wrote it back to Jaren, no.
I completely agree. I'm just putting the other side of the argument, which is to say the only angle I could see that would keep him from being deceptive would be to say he read that and went, no, he's got to be being sarcastic.
We should, they should make
Hey,
a
hey,
flat
hey.
Earth video that starts out with "You're living on a pretty ball."
My bad.
And
I didn't
then-
introduce was not was.
then
How you doing,
the-
was not was? Hopefully you can hear us.
Really?
Yes, me. Oh, yeah.
Good to have you.
Good to be here. Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right. I was introducing you. You joined and there just wasn't a gap and you'd said hi in the chat box, so I thought I'd say hello properly.
Cheers. Carry on.
Don't kick him by mistake this time. Hey, I missed the first part of the show. Was R proven and all the other good stuff?
And I didn't ask, actually, so that might be the case. Good point, Jose. Did anybody come across any proof of R?
Because I was looking yesterday in various places and I did not really.
No, I mean, that might be worth reiterating. Wolfie6020, who, when asked to provide scientific evidence for his spinning bull religion, presupposed R and gave, who was it, Spurs Chemo, a radius value and told him that that was the way to calculate it.
Tail. Shout out to Alki.
Isn't it the distance to where the sun touches the Earth touches the sky, and then you divide that by your imagination?
That's correct. So you take the arbitrary point, depending on your elevation, of where the sun apparently meets, not the sun, the sky apparently meets the ground, and that's incredibly useful to measure, apparently.
And divide that. You have to do. No, you can't just take that number. That's too easy. You have to
no, not just the imaginary point. No, you're right. Sorry, my bad. Perspective.
And you have to throw in pi as well.
Yeah, notwithstanding perspective, of course.
No, you don't need pi. Pi is automatically assumed because it's a ball.
Okay, my bad.
There you go.
It is. It's just you've got to accept that at some point, me or anybody else giving you this example, Mark, will arbitrarily decide that we're on a ball. So you've just got to accept it. And if you don't, I'll tell you it's logical deduction.
I just want someone who knows how to do the math as far as explaining that you can't put that much fuel into a plane's wing. Because they don't want to watch the video, and I don't know the math either. But a lot of folks on Discord, they should change that Discord to just to Ballers Convention.
What's the issue here? Because I don't understand how it's flat Earth related, particularly. Maybe you can fill me in, but who cares?
Well,
if they're ripping us off for fuel, we're being taxed.
They're lying. It all ties in. They've all managed to make it all tie together. I mean, you have the fact that Rockefeller originally knew that, if you went to your tap and poured a glass of water, he cannot charge you every penny you have in your pocket for that glass of water. But he decided that if that water became like a fleeting resource like oil, apparently oil is a is a reoccurring resource that's just coming out of the ground nonstop. But that doesn't make Rockefeller any money, so he decided to lie. But airplanes couldn't fly the way Rockefeller wanted, so he just pushed the lie, saying that they suck umpteen tons of fuel when they don't. And to work as a pilot, you pretty much eventually will clue in that the earth is flat. So someone will have to come and talk to you and say, you have a choice, Bob. You can keep this cushy job, or you can tell them the earth is flat. And that's how they shut everyone up. More money. That's why I'm saying that's how it all just ties together. The heliocentric model, the ties in with the fact that there's no God, because a lightning bolt created a human being. Well, eventually created a human being. First there was a lightning bolt, then there was a human being 65 million years later. And that human being needs oil to make his life work. That's why I'm saying if you can look into the math that's making the jet planes fly, you have something else to throw at these guys on Discord going, look, they're lying to you at every angle. And the only reason they don't want you to know just how fuel efficient jet planes are is because you might demand that in your gas under your hood. Wouldn't it be nice? You fill up, let's say, what is it, 15 gallons of fuel, and it doesn't matter if you sit in traffic for 10 hours or if you fly down the highway at top speed for 10 hours. You have 10 hours worth of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
They don't.
Fair enough.
I think I put together the argument that Flat Earth Math was making last night. That is, that the surface of the Earth is so big that the water it's like surface tension. So his argument is that it's surface tension that keeps, just like we would say surface tension is there on a flat surface, and the water droplet maintains its shape. That his explanation was that if you've got a cube that gets covered with water, it's the surface tension that holds the water to that cube. I think that's what he was trying to say last night.
Well, surface tension does function on a small scale.
Yeah, but on a big scale.
If the mass of the water droplet becomes larger up to a certain point than the total surface area of that water, then the surface tension will no longer be strong enough to pull it into a curved shape.
No, I understand your response, but I think that that's what he was trying to explain in order to get around the simplicity of saying that water sticks to a surface.
But that argument from Flat Earth Math is totally disingenuous because it only works on a very, very small scale. To suggest that is the explanation the way he does is disingenuous. There is no other explanation for that.
But it's really what keeps water stuck to non-water surfaces has nothing to do. That has nothing to do even with surface tension. Surface tension is only how the water interconnects with itself. Water, there's another effect that causes water to stick to non-water. What is it again?
Or you're talking about when you can pour a little extra into a glass, how it goes a little higher than the glass surface? Is that what you're shooting for?
What is it? Hydrophobia and the exact opposite of it. It's basically how well does a certain type of material attract water molecules to move next to it. And some materials, they are hydrophobic and they push it away. And you have water in a glass, it will. Oh, I got a plastic bottle with water in it, and at the edges, the water is pulled slightly towards
Oh
the
no,
plastic.
no. I know what you mean. What I'm saying is, if you pour above the surface of the container, how it sticks. You know how if you have a
Yeah. Over the edge.
over the edge, yeah,
Yeah. That is surface tension that is keeping it together.
yeah. But you would feel it if it was on such a on a planetary scale. You what ballers don't want you to go with is the fact that you would feel that force on acting upon you. Just like when the moon pulls trillions of gallons of water along with it every night,
Yeah.
you would feel that. You would go, I can feel, because moving a trillion gallons of water, there's some force there, guys.
If the water is going to be pulled up, then the air will be pulled up even more because it has less mass. So
Well,
all
no.
of that doesn't make any. The whole system doesn't make any damn sense.
It works perfect when you use the magic word called gravity.
No, it doesn't actually.
Gravity makes that work perfectly.
No, I got a better explanation.
Only
It's
if
called
you want
scale.
it to.
I was going to say
Scale.
that, Jose. It's just you
Scale.
don't understand scale, guys. That's your problem.
Yeah, they say because when we are experiencing here is the first person point of view is gigantic and the oceans, but they said no. Look at the Earth from space, from a million miles away. Is this ball and the water is like a thin layer of skin over it, so it's nothing, you know. It's I don't know.
No, there's a better one. Scale would work better if you say, you, compared to the scale of the trillions of people, are feeble minded. Therefore, try not to think about this and just go with what we tell you. Yeah, that. There you go.
Yeah.
That works.
Look, little ant, don't step out of line. You know, in
Yeah, don't-
Ants, you ever see that movie? It was DreamWorks, like a competitor to Disney Pixar. But it had Sly Stallone and I forget who the guy that played it. It was quite a famous guy that played the main
Woody
character.
Allen.
Woody Allen, that was it. And basically, they've got Kevin Spacey playing a grasshopper. And what he does is he explains to this team of grasshoppers that are bullying the ants into doing the harvest for them that there's thousands of these ants. And he grabs a grain out of this big silo full of grain and chucks it at one of the grasshoppers and says, "Did that hurt?" And he goes, "No." And he grabs another one and chucks it at him and says, "Did that hurt?" He goes, "No." And then he pulls the stopper out, and of course all these grains just absolutely overwhelm all these grasshoppers. And he says, "Look, if they all stood up to us, we'd be absolutely screwed. So we've got to keep them feeling feeble-minded," or words to that effect. I can't quote it. It's a long time
Bug's
since I
Life.
watched it.
That's what it was. The Bug's Life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how they'll tell you right to you. This is what we're doing to you guys. But it can't be because we told you in the cartoon.
That's it. Truth in plain sight.
Yeah, hidden. Well, it's part of. Actually, it's part of when Satan ran away from heaven. That was the deal he made: is that he will tell up front that he's deceiving you, right up front. He'll tell you that. He has to.
Are you there, Anthony? You mentioned this about Rumpus.
I am here. I mentioned what about Rumpus?
He said that what he'll do is he'll come in and he'll disclaim the very thing that they're guilty of, and then move on to their defence. So if you're not sharp, you'll miss the fact that he's actually just disclaimed the point you're making. So for instance, he said that the curve calculator doesn't perform viewing functionality, and it was one of the first things he said. And in essence, what he's doing is admitting that you shouldn't be comparing the curve calculator to photographs because it doesn't perform viewing functionality. Now, he then dressed that up as to say, well, it's not taking pictures, it's not a camera. It's like, no, I know what you meant. You know what you meant. It doesn't include perspective because it's not comparable to photographs.
Yeah, so if the allegation is blue against a particular point, he'll come in and straight away say, well, yeah, it is blue, but here's all the reasons for why that's not really the case. And he'll admit it within 10 seconds, but then have the whole hangout based on a point that is probably moot in any event, but ultimately obfuscates the point so it's not clear. When it was previously clear, it's either one or the other. But he starts off with the admission, which is like the introductory point. But then somehow that gets lost by the obfuscation, and at the end of it, you think, what was actually achieved in that? And there was no achievement whatsoever, other than to obfuscate the point, make it sound confusing.
Indeed, this is the kind of people we're dealing with. But ultimately speaking, we're only interested in the truth. They're only interested in their religion. So while we will concede occasionally on things that we've got wrong, they will never concede. It's now openly admitted by most of the ballers that come on here that the calculator excludes perspective. However, have we had a single concession from any of these assholes that have used this calculator in the completely wrong way and not applied perspective to the targets that they're measuring? They've used actual sizes, orthographic sizes for their calculations. That's wrong. Now, we're onto the models now for some reason. We've got Sly and all these modelers who suddenly come to the surface. It's like, where are all these guys that are comparing the curve calcs to these things? Why aren't they on the show telling us that Ranty's wrong with curve calculators? Oh, right, because you all conceded that it's broken and excludes perspective and doesn't compare to viewing functionality. Well, where's your concession? You've all used it. We went over this and I think they've all just hoped it'll go away. It's like, you guys have all got it well and truly wrong. We're still waiting for concessions. We're still waiting for admissions and retractions for the fallacious evidence you've presented based on this curve calculator that absolutely is not comparable to the photographs you have used when comparing to it. So all these idiots out there, they've all got it wrong.
A better way to put this would be if science is there to explain what is happening in our world. Now, if the science they're using doesn't explain what we see in our reality, then the science has to be wrong. Why not go with that?
Well, because what they call science is normally pseudoscience models that don't prove anything at all, but they base their entire faith on.
Science was created to explain what is happening in our life. Isn't that the definition of why science was created in the first place?
It's to explore the natural world.
Well, there you go. And if you can see whatever it is, 50 miles away, then science has to be able to explain that.
There's nothing to explain.
It would explain.
There's no phenomena.
Let me explain what I mean. So when we had Dean on, Dean was basically saying, oh, we see a building at 15 miles. That requires further explanation. It's like, why? Well, because it's interesting. Why is it interesting? Well, and he couldn't give an answer other than his religious belief in a pseudoscience model says that building shouldn't be there. So based on a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective omitting globe model, he has decided that something we just see, because we've got eyeballs, no other reason, there's no other explanation required. We see it because it's there. They suddenly call something that we see, there's a concrete noun, a phenomena. Well, why is it a phenomena? Because your religion says it's a phenomena, because it doesn't agree with your religion. That's the bottom line. They say, suddenly just seeing something, you've got a picture of something on screen now, and because it's a close field shot, we see cliff and fence and a couple of houses and, great. Does this need explaining? No, of course it doesn't. It's just a picture of something. But when you zoom in with a telephoto lens and then take a picture of a bit of cliff and a bit of building and a bit of lighthouse, and does that need explaining? No, it's the same thing. It's just further away. Well, so what? Other than the rules of perspective, which we all should but don't understand, there's nothing else to take into account. Things get smaller into the distance. Yeah, we know that. If we stood further back from this cliff, or whatever it's called, St. Bees Head, we would see it getting smaller if we got further away from it. We all understand that. So other than that effect, which would be very patently obvious if you looked at something in the distance, other than that, what needs explaining? And the answer is nothing needs explaining. It's a concrete noun. But they've turned concrete nouns into phenomena. Well, they're not. We just see it because it's there. There is no explanation required. There is no phenomena. Yeah? The only time it becomes a phenomena is when they come along with a model. It's like, well, that's just a model. What are you talking about? Don't show me a model of something and then claim that that's how my world is. It's not. I look, I see, that's it. No explanation required, other than if you have a religious belief in what you should and shouldn't see. A preconceived notion of what the world is. Well, that preconceived notion for most people is a sphere-shaped Earth. And when the evidence of your own eyes contradicts that religious belief, you say, this requires explanation. This requires investigation. This phenomena must be explained. It's like, there is no phenomena. What are you talking about? Well, my pseudoscience model says it shouldn't be there. So what? So what? Go away with your pseudoscience model and your religious belief in sphere Earths. I don't care. I just see something. There's no phenomena to explain here, you idiot. Tell me why you've got a pseudoscience religious belief that it shouldn't be there. Well, because somebody somewhere said it was a sphere, and now this doesn't match. So that makes no sense to me. Well, just ignore the person that told you it was a sphere, and then life will go on quite happily with nothing changing around you. The world is still what it is. It was, is, and always will be flat. But the fact that you've got a religious belief it's something other than what you see, then that's your problem. That's just your religious belief.
So.
Hello, FE Viking.
Hello.
Hello. I'm going to round out for a short break shortly, so I don't know if anybody wants to add stuff before I round out for a little break.
No, there just seems to be very little resistance at the minute. It seems that they're all on another one of these boycott Nathan moments. It's quite interesting to see, actually, because if we were to ask for relief from the trolls, just to say, you know, like, come on, give us a couple of weeks off, they'd never do it. But for some reason now we seem to have the relief, which is great. And it's like, what's going on here? Why is it they're not keen to come in anymore and tell us how stupid we are and tell us how we don't understand anything and tell us how everything, the whole body of science supports them, and they don't want to do that anymore? I find it very satisfying.
Indeed. When you ask Brenda to tie down what an independent variable is, and she says, well, no, tie down what the two things that qualify an independent variable to be an independent variable, her answer was, well, it must vary. No second one. So I said, okay, well, your independent variable when you're talking about an experiment to prove the Earth is curved was Earth curve. How are you going to vary that? And she says, you don't have to. You just think these people are double-speaking idiots. Literally stupid. And that's what Brenda demonstrated herself to be 5 seconds after saying the one thing that qualifies it, not the second, is that it should vary. And then moments later say, I don't need to vary this.
Well, people what they're doing, if it's all right with you, I'm going to invite Arwin to say the final word for the show, and then you can round out. Arwin, are you there?
Yeah.
Alan B says that this is one of the most boring shows and that I'm the worst beta in the world. Would you want to direct a comment towards Alan B on as we close out?
Nope.
Oh.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. But if you liked the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video. Oh, do you want to say bye-bye too, do you? Go on then, say bye-bye. That's your version of bye-bye.
What a lovely day!